Hello, Chess for Children kids. It's me, Mr. C, and I'm here to help you with your game of chess today. And today we are going to continue our series on dynamic. We're going to continue our series on the 7 elements in the game of chess. And we're going to talk about it, and we're going to show a game, and then we're going to look at a video. It's the same video as we showed last time, which is the video on Chess Track. All right, we're going to show Chess Track, which is always a good thing. And then after we do that, okay, we might have enough time to play the game. We changed the format. We're down to an hour. Okay, we would appreciate anybody who wants to sign up or subscribe or leave a couple of ducats in my way. After all, I do work hard on this. And that's basically it. So if you're here, you want to learn to play chess, you want to do good, we'll move right on to the lesson. Okay, so let's go to chess. Okay. And hi everybody, it's me, Mr. C, and today's subject will be dynamics in chess.
Children, kids, so much fun, you'll split a rib. Summer, winter, fall, we'll checkmate them all with a Chess for Children kids.
Chess for Children. We make children smarter.
Please welcome author, lecturer, chess coach, and CEO of Chess for Children, National Master Steve Colding.
Hi everybody, it's me, Mr. C, and today's subject will be Hi, we had a little glitch there. It's my fault. I pressed a couple of buttons, but it's okay. We're going to get to the chess lesson right now. And if you'd like to know this or any other lessons, you go to my website, chessforchildren.com, right back there. Okay, and you'll definitely get free lessons while it lasts. We're in the process of making it a private website, so if you want, you'll have to at least sign up. So if you don't want to sign up or anything like that, you can definitely go there now and see a whole bunch of lessons for free. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, let's do the chess lesson. Let's do that. And now we're here. Okay, the third lesson. If this is your first time here, please think about signing up, subscribing, doing all those kind of things. It helps the channel so much. And if you signed up, you'd be our first subscriber. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you here. Okay, so if you want to be our first subscriber or you want to follow us or anything like that, be glad. Now, we're going to talk about dynamics in chess. Okay, and the first thing we're going to look at, dynamics in chess. Okay. And the thing about dynamics, it's one of the elements, one of the 7 elements in the game of chess. And one of the 7 elements in the game of chess, if you're not familiar with what we've been doing, we've been having this series of the 7 elements in the game of chess. And the 7 elements in the game of chess, for those who want to know, is space, time, force, harmony, position, dynamics, and psychology. So right now, we are on the 6th one, which is dynamics in chess. Okay? Now, what is dynamics in the game of chess? What is dynamics? Okay? Dynamics in the game of chess is Dynamics deals with the tactical aspects of the game of chess. The tactical aspects. Well, okay, as opposed, what are tactics? Okay, what are tactics? Well, let's see. Tactics are, what are tactics? Tactics are, in chess, tactics refer to a sequence of moves that limit the opponent's options and may result in tangible gains. Tactics are usually contrasted with strategy, in which advantages take longer to be realized and the opponent is less constrained in responding. In other words, dynamics deals with the actual move by move that you're considering there, whereas dynamics are tactics and strategy is planning. So strategy is long term and tactics is short term. Strategy is how you figure out, how you plan to win, and strategy is what, and tactics is when you throw the bomb and boom, and it goes below. Okay, so we always have to be aware of both aspects of the game and see if our strategy is not flawed by faulty tactics. I know that sounds a little fun. Well, what are tactics? What are tactics? Well, let's explain what are tactics. And tactics are, these are just some tactics in the game of chess, and we'll be dealing with a tactical game afterwards. But we'll be, hey, hello, the only Anwar, how you doing? Nice to see you. We're going to be doing tactics today, okay? Which is dynamics in chess. We're continuing with our series on the elements in the game of chess. And how are you? The only Anwar. He's a good you're doing great. I'm doing great too. I'm just feeling fantastic. So, anyway, let's get on. Okay. Okay. Now, these are just various tactics in the game of chess. There's a lot of different ones. And the only Anwar is the only Anwar. Awar. Anwar. Okay, the only Anwar. He's very good. He always answers the questions and stuff like that, and he's a loyal follower. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you so much. So I don't have to be lonely. Okay, dynamics in the game of chess, and we're dealing with tactics. Some tactics are attacking F2, F7, F2, forks, double attacks, sacrifice, attacking the castle king, hanging piece, simplification, back rank, interference, skewers, and basic checkmates. So, this in the game of chess, how do we should always be on the lookout for tactics, and we should always be looking. So let me just pick a game. Now, a strategical game, how do you tell the difference between a strategy game and a tactical game? Well, the difference between the games are the amount of contact between the pieces. Does that mean you can't have tactics in a strategical game? No, you should have tactics. Somewhere along the line there will be a tactic. So can you not play strategically in the tactical game? Yes, you can. Okay, that could be, you could have a strategical goal for your tactics in the game of chess, like better pawn structure, or when you smash up a king side, or positional weaknesses. So yes, both are continuing. You know, Steinitz said that if you have a good position, there has to be a combination, no matter how deeply hidden. And we find that to be true. And then your creativity comes in. So let's go straight to the game that we're going to deal with right now. Okay, and right here. And let's deal with... Okay, let me get this together. And so we could get to the board. Okay. And Oh, right here. Okay, now we're at the board. Hey, nice to see you. Thank you, viewer, for showing up. I appreciate you showing up. Thank you. And now we're going to look at a game that will emphasize tactical or the specific nature of a position. Now, a lot of times in chess, you're focused on maxims. And maxim is a piece of advice, usually a good one. That lets us know. Usually a good one that lets us know how to proceed. It's sort of like a map. But however, these cannot be followed blindly. So this is a game of Petrosian who showed that, hey, you should not follow these things blindly. So let me move this over here a little bit. I'm going to move the, let's see, where is it? The window capture. I'm going to move that over here. And just to make it a little better, I'm going to, okay, we've got a little bit, and let's make this a little smaller just so we could see the chessboard. Okay, now that's a little better, I think. Okay, you gotta forgive me. I'm one guy. I'm not a lot of people, so I gotta do it all by myself. Okay, hey viewer, thank you for showing up. Thank you. And now this game, I'm gonna switch sides because Black actually plays this game better. So I'm gonna flip the board, and now we're going to deal with this opening. E4. E5. The subject today is tactics in chess. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, d3, bishop c5, and now castle. Okay, in lots of games, and remember, we're not dealing with the exact moves or trying to say the exact moves right here, but in a lot of times they tell you, coaches tell you to castle early. Yes, this is usually 90% of the time a good idea, but in this situation, castling early actually takes with it a certain amount of danger. Okay, and you have to be aware of this danger right here. White has castled early, but Black has not. Therefore, Black knows where White's king is. And therefore, knowing where White's king is, he can start attacking it. And so the move here, if Black just castled, it'd be a normal, easy, simple game. But if he castled, since White has the move, he'd probably have the worst move. Now, right here, Black, hoping not to have a quiet game. And remember, the person with the black pieces is ex-world champion Tigran Petrosian. And he's actually playing an amateur. I guess it's in a simultaneous exhibition. And this shows you the difference between specific knowledge and definitely someone who's just following basic rules. Now right here, the move is, and the strongest move, and I have to actually get this move exclamation mark, because I think this is the strongest move here. Can anybody guess it? Can any of you viewers guess what the secret move, what the strongest move in this position is? No? Okay, the strongest move in this position is d6. Black is not in a hurry to castle now because he knows where the king is. Is he contemplating queenside castling? He doesn't know yet, but he's keeping his options open. He wants to make sure that he has a chance. White's best move here would be bishop to e3. That's what I believe. Bishop to e3 would be his best move. The move he does now is not a bad move, but I think it cedes the initiative, and this is just my opinion. Maybe a computer might disagree with me, but I think this move cedes, and this is very similar to the canal variation of the Italian game. Okay, we're in the Italian game, the Italian pianissimo, they call it, which is the little quiet game. Okay, so here, white immediately pins the knight, which I think this bishop is needed to deal with some central squares and stuff like this, and this is very optimistic here. And what black does, and this is typical, is he challenges this right away. Okay? And now, again, I think maybe black admitting his mistake and playing bishop to e3 might be the best move. Black would normally not take this bishop, by the way. If he did bishop to e3, normally he wouldn't take this because it strengthens his center in the board. So because this e3 square, even though it's double pawns, it's actually having influence on the d4 square. So it's sort of dynamic. And plus it opens the f-file, which may be of use later on. So we really wouldn't do that move. What we would do is probably play bishop here, with the idea of playing if bishop takes, a takes. But here what happens is he plays bishop here. Now this is very, very dangerous. This is a very dangerous position. Now, does anybody know what black does here? Does anybody have an idea? Knight to g4, although temporary, I'm assuming you mean after bishop takes e3, bishop takes e3, temporary. Let's go back. The only Anwar said, and you told me your name. I just forgot your name. I think it's Jerry. Is it Jerry? Okay. Anyway, in this situation, and let's go back to bishop takes e3, pawn takes e3, knight takes g4 would be a mistake here because of bishop takes. Okay, so you couldn't do it at that point. And let's see, if he did it, let's say he did it a little earlier, and he played d6, bishop g5, instead of bishop g5, if he played bishop e3, and pawn takes, that would just, knight g4 really doesn't do much because of this. I don't see how he's going to increase the pressure on this, and this is easily trapped back. And plus, in fact, now that I'm looking at it, I'm probably wrong here. Pawn takes, knight g4. Again, you have this move, bishop takes f7, because king takes, knight to g. No, you don't have it because the knight's protected. Okay, so you don't have it there because the knight's being protected by the queen, by the bishop. So you don't have it there. So I was wrong, even though it's a little funny, this position. Let's see here. Here. I don't know. This position is a little more complicated and is tactical. So we'd have to look and see and decide, is it worth it? There are dynamic, but here I think that black is, who's doing okay here? I'd have to count. Okay, this knight is going to be trapped. That's for sure. Okay, and what do we have? 2 rooks. 1, 2, 3. Knight trapped. So he'll lose that knight. I think black would probably be better here. But again, it's dynamic. Queen here, king up, bishop here, rook would take. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that would be better for black here. Okay, so bishop takes is not a serious threat here. But anyway, these are things that would have to be considered. Anyway, the move was h6. Petrosian probably had all of this under control, being a world champion. Bishop h4. The move here. What do you think the move here is? The move here is g5. g5 is the move here. Okay? Okay, now you could consider this, I guess. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, rook here, attacking this. Let's see, h4, bishop to g4. You couldn't play the bishop to g4 before. And see, this is all tactical considerations. You couldn't play the bishop to g4 before. Right? Hg, bishop takes, and bishop to g4 is no good because bishop takes, and rook takes, and rook takes. And you're actually a piece down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you're not a piece down. You're 2 pawns down. Okay? So you couldn't play bishop to g4 because that gives him back his material. Plus, look, white has all his pawns and black's missing 2. So he'd be 2 pawns down. So he can't do that. And forgive me for going along. I'm just trying to give you all the possibilities. g5, why that? And remember, white is an amateur and black is the world champion. So g5, bishop to g3 is the move he played. And let's promote that variation. Okay, now, what move here did Petrosian play? What move here did Petrosian play? Petrosian played the move h4, which threatens to trap the bishop. And now there are moves he could play which are reasonable. He could play h4, which would be reasonable. He could play, h4, I think you have a choice here. You have bishop g4, have pawn takes h4, right? Bishop back, pawn here. Okay. If pawn takes, king takes, queen takes. Oh, did we play rook takes pawn? Okay, now we're threatening bishop takes, so he'd have to do that. And, oh, we got knight d4 here. Right, knight here. And what shall we do here? Shall we play queen here? Or knight takes, Or can we castle? Can we castle? Okay, I think this because of the pressure. I mean, he can't do anything like this, right? Okay, can he do anything like that? Knight takes. I can play. Can I play queen here? I could play rook here. That might be good. Rook h1. And then rook takes. Yeah, rook takes. Rook takes looks good. See, if he doesn't play rook h1, I'm going to play bishop h. If he plays something like queen here, bishop check, king here, and rook takes, right? Rook takes. So, so that's pretty bad. Okay, so I'm trying to give you all the possibilities here, but as you can see, there are pins, there are forks, all this type of stuff is definitely dynamic, and it's stuff that you would have to calculate. And that's what makes it. Look at the contact between the pieces. There's contact on this file, there's contact on this knight, there's contact here, there's 3 pieces of contact. There's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. And see, this does limit the opponent's possibilities. I mean, you even have moves like here. And let's see, moves like here. Here. Can we take this? Well, this is just a cute little variation, whether it's good or not. It's just a cute little variation. I doubt it's sound, but we'd have to examine it more. Anyway, let's get back to how the game did. So h4 was the move. And now h5 was the move. And rather than h4, oh, by the way, h3, then we play h4 and then bishop g4. And now we're threatening g3 here. We're attacking the knight. If pawn takes, bishop takes. And now we're threatening h3 and very similar stuff to what happened before. I mean, here it's pretty clear that white's being attacked here. I mean, queen e7, castle long, rook over. Okay, all the pieces would be on the king. Okay, plus we also have knight coming here. So there's a lot of possibilities, and without a doubt, it's white being attacked. So here, rather than go through all of that, the opponent chose to play knight takes g5. Knight takes g5. Okay? And let's see. Knight takes g5. h4. Knight takes f7. Now, does anybody know what move Petrosian played here? Does anybody have an idea of what move Petrosian played here? Petrosian looks like he's not doing so well because his queen and his rook are being attacked. They're being forked. And forking is a tactic. Okay, it's one of the tactics which we discovered. And this position is very complicated. You have to have a certain ice water in your veins in order to play a position like this. Yeah? Okay, the move is h takes g3. He takes the bishop. And now, if he takes the rook, right? If he takes the rook, there are a lot of different ways to play, but we won't be examining that because we're not so concerned with soundness today. What we are concerned with is how to play tactics, okay? So h takes rook, he takes the queen. Okay? And now we have the bishop out to g4. The bishop's attacking the queen. So the queen moves out the way towards the center. And now knight comes to d4. What's the threat? Does anybody see what the threat is after knight goes to d4? Anybody? Threat? Does anybody see the threat? Yes, no, maybe? The threat is... knight to f3. Yes, it is a threat. There's a simpler and it's the most effective threat. Again, the only Noir does it again. It comes up with the great move. Knight to f3 is the most important move. There's also a threat of knight to e2 check, king over, and rook takes h. Okay, rook takes h is main. So let's just say he... Okay, now there are a few moves here. He could play knight to c3 or h3. If he plays h3, does anybody know what move he's going to do? h3. Oh, hold on, not there. H4. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get back to the position. Bishop to G4, H4. Nope. Sorry. Give me a second. Okay, knight D8, bishop to G4, queen to D2, knight to D4. The move is that the threat is if C3, knight E2, king over, rook H2, right? But if he does H3, what do we do? H3. It's made in 2. No, I'm sorry. It's made in 3. I'm sorry, not 2. Okay, the idea is okay. Pawn takes. No, the idea is knight E2 check. No, knight E2 check. Knight E2 check. King A. And now it's made in 2. Well, how many squares does the king have? 1. What can attack the square? The bishop. But what's in the way of the bishop? This pawn at G2. So how do we get the pawn at G2 going? We use the rook. And then deliver the mate. Okay, so that's checkmate. Beautiful variation. This wasn't played. The opponent decided to play instead knight to C3. And here, this is when we play the only Noir's move, knight to F3, check. Now, king can't move over because rook takes his edge, so this must be taken. And then when bishop takes, now he can't take the pawn because of rook to H1 checkmate. He can't take it this way because it's pinned. Okay, so he moves the rook. And then pawn takes pawn, king over, and queen. A beautiful game by Petrosian. But let's examine, why did this happen? Why did this game happen? Well, once we examine afterwards, I mean, it was brilliant in its execution. But why did Petrosian, and how did he understand? How did he understand that this was a possibility in the position? Well, let's start from the beginning. E4, so far, knight F3, and then we'll go to bishop G5. The bishop has moved once. H6. Now the bishop has moved twice. G5. Now the bishop has moved 3 times. H5. Now the knight has moved twice. H4. Now the knight has moved 3 times. H takes. And now the knight has moved 4 times. And now let's look at what black has at white's king. He has a bishop. He has a knight. He has another bishop. He has a rook. And he has all these pieces getting ready to attack the king. So the bishop comes out. And now the knight comes out. And now look at all the pieces he has around the king. And that's why a world champion can see the dynamic potential in having all of these pieces surrounding a king that's by himself. Look at black's pieces. They're in white's pieces are in different places. Black's pieces are all concentrated around the king. And so this has been an idea of tactics and how we can see that tactics are in the position or might be in the position and how the dynamic elements work. how do we incorporate this in our game? Well, you got to be creative. What can I tell you? You got to calculate, you got to be creative, and you got to look and see the possibilities. Calculation and tactics are about, well, tactics are about calculation, whereas strategy is about planning. Okay? And yes, they do go hand in hand. It's not that absolute. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so it's 11:37, and we're done with that. So now let's move on to playing a game. And so let me go to the big board. Okay, and now we have this position here, and we're going to get rid of this, and we're going to go to window capture. Okay, and you have to give me a little time here. Okay, so let's set up the position, and I have time to play 1 or 2 people. Let me go to LI Chess. Go to LI Chess for a second, and now I'm going to, if anyone wants to challenge me, feel free. Let me just make sure that we're set up. Okay, make sure. Okay, window capture. Let's see. Okay, window capture. Blitz. Okay. And let's see, do you guys have it yet? You don't have my thing, so let me add a window capture here. Okay, I can always not. Okay, done. Okay, so let's go. Let's go. Okay, in the meantime, while I'm setting this up, I'm going to look at my video.
Chess. The ultimate adventure. Chess. The ultimate adventure. These are the chess games of the Starship Enprise. Our 5-year mission to explore new positions, seek out new moves, to boldly play like no one has played before. Stardate 2275.4. The crew is in an intergalactic chess tournament. The mission is to foster intergalactic friendship through the game of chess. Unlike Earth chess, the entire crew can help offer advice. The game will be played aboard our starship, the Enprise, with me making the final decision. We expect tough matches, and the crew is looking forward to the challenge. Mr. Shock.
Captain, our first match is against the Stalions. Though brilliant tactically, they are known to try to attack ruthlessly and recklessly. They are known to employ their queen early in the effort of a quick checkmate. On the whole, a very dangerous group, Captain.
Thank you, Mr. Shock. Spotty, how's our power?
We have full power, Captain. We have not lost any pieces.
Kulu?
We have the white pieces, Captain.
Great. I love playing with the white pieces.
Captain, the Stellaeans have signaled that they're ready for our first move.
Thank you, Lieutenant Ifulia. Signal that we will make our first move shortly. Shock!
Captain, I suggest we follow our standard opening.
Jones?
Darn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a chess player.
Very well. Mr. Shock, I agree. Mr. Kulu, play pawn to e4.
Aye, aye, Captain. Pawn to e4 has been played.
Captain, a transmission is coming in from the Stellaeans. They've played, in response, pawn to e5.
Shock?
The response e5 allows the Stellaeans freedom of movement for their queen and their dark square bishop. It is one of the best responses to our move e4. I give the odds of our victory approximate 50.3476%.
Kulu, knight to f3.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Knight to f3 has been played, Captain. It detects the e5 pawn.
Fascinating. Readings indicate that the Stellaeans are thinking about their decision a little too long. This suggests to me that they are contemplating a surprising move.
Red alert! Shields up! Shock!
Shields up, Captain.
Transmission in, Captain. The move is queen to f6.
Mr. Shock.
Captain, analysis shows that the Stellaeans love to bring their queen out early. This on the face of it seems very powerful because it gets the strongest piece in the game, and also protects the e5 pawn. Bringing the queen out early is actually a superficial strategy because it exposes your strongest piece to untold of dangers. Since the queen is so powerful and valuable, she can be pushed around by other smaller.
Like the pawns, Mr. Shock?
Exactly, Ensign.
Recommendations.
I recommend bringing the knight out to the square to c3, Captain. Here, it might jump to d5 and harass the queen. It is the strong and logical reply.
I suggest, Captain, that we play pawn to open the position and make our piece more active.
Jones?
Darn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a chess player.
Why bring out the queen so early? Why do it unless they want to attack me with it? Gentlemen, your suggestions were logical and full of wisdom. However, I am going to play bishop to c4.
Captain.
Mr. Kulu, play bishop to c4.
Need I remind you that moving the bishop away from your king's side when the queen is so near can be dangerous. Also, it leaves your pawns in a vulnerable state.
But, Captain.
Bishop to c4, mister, and that's an order.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Captain, the bishop has been deployed to the square c4.
Captain, are you aware that your last move has left two pawns vulnerable?
Not only am I aware of it, Mr. Shock, I am counting on it.
Captain, the Stellaeans have played their queen to the g6 square.
Captain, we have two pawns under attack. What in blazes is going on up there?
Kulu, play our other knight to c3.
We have left a valuable pawn that was protecting our king unprotected. We will probably lose a pawn.
Sacrifice, Mr. Shock, sacrifice.
The Stellaeans have taken to the g2 pawn.
The invading queen is threatening to take our rock with check.
I can barely hold it together.
Hang on, Spotty. Quickly, Kulu. Play the rook to g1.
Aye, aye, Captain. G1.
The rook is now attacking the queen because it is being protected by the knight.
Captain, they've moved their queen to the square h3.
Quickly, Kulu. Play the bishop to square f7.
With check, Captain.
Exactly. With check, Mr. Kulu.
Bishop played to f7, Captain.
The Black King is now in check.
Mr. Shock, what are they doing?
Scanning, Captain. They appear to... Yes, they are taking the bishop, Captain. They are taking the bishop.
Captain.
Yes, I know, Kulu. Play the knight to g5 and check them again.
Knight to g5.
The Stellaeans resign. The Stellaeans resign. The Stellaeans resign. The Stellaeans resign. The Stellaeans resign.
Why, Captain?
Mr. Shock.
The reason for surrender, Ensign, is the Stellaeans will have to give up their queen. Their king and queen are attacked at the same time, or forked if you will. And since the king has to move, the queen will be captured by our knight on the next move. A brilliant strategy, Captain, devised to take away the piece that the Stalions value above all, their queen.
Yes, when they lost their queen, they lost their will to fight. But they should have developed all their pieces as a unit, and not relied too heavily on just one. Chess is a team effort, and if the team doesn't all work together as a unit, then victory can scarcely be won. Right, Jones?
Gosh darn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a philosopher.
Well, hi, I hope you enjoyed our video. We'll be changing it up on Wednesday. We'll be a little more organized too on Wednesday, and I'm glad all you guys are here. And thank you, viewers, for showing up. Thank you, The Only One. We played a little game. I'm sorry I didn't show it fast enough for you, but you know, I didn't have time to do everything, so I didn't have time to set up for the chess games. But next time I will make sure that everything is set up, and we will be ending our last series, our last part of the series on the elements of the game of chess. And what we will be talking about then is psychology, how we think about the position. And since I was part of it and I know how I was thinking about the position, I will show you a game that I played against Master FM Mark Ritter and show you how we both were thinking badly about the position. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much for being part of it. And thank you for coming by. And remember, we're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we'll do a little chess lesson and stuff like that. And who knows, maybe we'll do the Simo. We'll go back to the Simo. We'll think about it. Anyway, I have my marketing people telling me what to do now. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you all later. Thank you, and you too, the one and only Nah. Let's hear it for him. Good job. Okay, good job. And anyway, I shall see you. Actually, I should have given you a draw because he gave me a mercy draw the other day, didn't you? Okay, I should have returned. Just consider our game like it was a draw. I wasn't thinking about that. I should have. Okay, now. Anyway, I shall see you all later. And here we're going out with our intro.
It's for children, kids. So much fun, you'll split a rib. Summer, winter, fall, we'll checkmate them all with a chess for children, kids.